Stefon Diggs is a Houston Texan. Nick Caserio is cooking the most gourmet Michelin star meal I've ever seen in my life this offseason. Guys, welcome back to Off the Gridiron, your Apollo HOU Houston Texans podcast. My name's Noah Outlaw, and I'm one of your hosts. And as always, I'm here with Garrett Harrelson. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? It's been a while. We were holding off and recording a little bit because it's been a little slow because we've been waiting for something to explode like this. We are finally here. We have made the big trade you and I have been discussing that we should make or we would make for another wide receiver, a veteran, and it's Stefon Diggs, which is for what do we get him for?
We got Stefon Diggs for a 2025 second round pick, and in return, the Texans get a Stefon Diggs, obviously 2024 sixth round pick, and a 2025 fifth round pick. So I would say
stole Stefon Diggs.
Yeah,
we just stole Stefon Diggs,
yeah.
1,000-yard receiver, 100 reception receiver away, and we gave up a pick for not even this year, and we got back 2 picks. How do you do that? Nick is the Messiah. Nick is the Messiah. I don't know how you swing that, but I will say every time, we haven't recorded since the trade down. We traded out of the first. A lot of people were like, I don't know about that, including myself. I was like, I don't know. And unless we're angling to try to trade for a veteran right now, I don't know. Here we are. Yeah. This is what it all led up to. We got Stefon Diggs for nothing, for a bag of chips. That is insane. Insane.
A bag of chips. And Stefon Diggs is obviously, let's talk about him, right? I mean, Stefon Diggs is a guy who, for most of his career, for a long time, dating back to his days in Minnesota, has been, a guy people consider a top 10, top 5 wide receiver in the league. And has been dominant with the Bills, with Josh Allen for the past few, what has it been, 4 years since he's been on it? Maybe, 4 years?
Something like that, 4 seasons.
Maybe more. But it was one of the most dominant receivers in the NFL, one of the biggest names in the NFL. And we like you mentioned a minute ago, we've been talking about how the Texans should probably make a move for a receiver.
Yeah.
It was either like, let's address it in the draft, that's fine, I guess. But it was kind of hard because we traded out of the first round, like you mentioned. And a lot of the best receivers were not going to be available anymore.
You would think they would use that first rounder on a receiver, which after the move down, that was impossible. So it was like, all right, well, what's the next best thing? The next best thing is to trade for a established star who, by the way, had 107 receptions last year, 1,183 receiving yards, averaged 11 yards a catch, and had 8 touchdown catches last year. And that was considered a down year for Stefon Diggs. Remember that? Like in the second half of the season, they were like, why isn't he getting targets? Joe Brady's not giving him targets or anything like that. That's a down year for him. Stefon can still put up 1,300.
Absolutely.
He can still put up 1,300.
If you look at his 2022 numbers,
11
touchdowns, 108 receptions, 1,429 yards. The year before that, 1,200. The year before that, 1,500. The year before that in Minnesota, 1,100. Guys, I mean, we just got one of the most game-changing receivers.
Yeah, Stefon, he doesn't have the explosiveness he did back in Minnesota or when he first went to Buffalo, like the deep threat explosiveness, but he is a legit top 5 possession receiver. He can make all the receptions. He catches 100 balls a year. That's what he does. And you pair him up with other guys who potentially could catch 100 balls a year. You have maybe you have the NFL's MVP in Houston this year. That's CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is the biggest winner out of everyone here.
Oh yeah.
Here's the deal. He's got the chance to throw for 5,000 yards this season.
He does. He absolutely does. Because this is another thing we want to talk about. Look, Stefon Diggs is being added to a wide receiver room that was already, look, if the Texans didn't make a move for receiver, was already a damn good room. Nico Collins, who last year had 80 receptions, had mind 80 receptions for 1,297 yards and 8 touchdowns. And Tank Dell,
Take
who was a breakout star up until he got injured, and would have easily cleared 1,000 yards.
Yeah, Tank was on
So
pace. People forget. Hey, people forget. Tank was on pace for over 100 catches for over 1,000 yards. People forget.
yeah,
He was
people forget
dog
it.
walking people. Yeah,
All right,
people
so
forget.
look, so there,
He was dog walking people.
so you got your receivers. You got Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stefon Diggs. All right, let's look at tight end. Dalton Schultz. Dalton
Brevin
Schultz, who
Jordan.
last year had a great year with the Texans, is a phenomenal tight end in the league, and is now here to stay as well. And then you look at the Stefon Diggs contract. We talked about it. We talked about it just before recording. Stefon Diggs is under contract until 2028.
Yeah, yeah. He's
2028. What are we
obviously
paying him this year, Garrett?
I believe we're paying him 18.5 million this year, which, hey, he's a 1,000-yard receiver. He's going to get that, and I'm sure eventually down the road, Nick will restructure his contract a little bit because that's what you can do in the NFL now. I don't know who figured this
Yeah.
out, by the way. I don't know who found that. Like, it was like, oh, the cap space, we can't do that. And then some guy was just like, what if I was still able to pay him that, but not on their contract, just like in
Yeah.
guaranteed or signing bonus money? And everyone was like,
Yeah.
that could
Oh,
just work. And then that's why we get the Chiefs just signing Chris Jones to $158 million because they just do
yeah.
shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nick is smart enough to do shit like that. We can
Nick
easily
is
restructure
doing
his
that.
contract. You know what? He can restructure his contract, and we can have enough cap space and room to maybe make another move, to sign someone
Yeah.
else, to trade for someone else. I would be surprised if before training camp, or excuse me, before the deadline, we trade for another player. What if we need a little help here and there? Oh, a little help.
Yeah.
A corner. I'll trade for a corner. Like that, it's not out of the realm of possibility with Nick Caserio because
It's not. It's not at all.
Nick Caserio is showing why he is a top dog in the NFL when it comes to GMs.
Mm-hmm.
This just further explains that point.
Guys, we got to
I'm
listen
just
to this offense. You got to listen to this offense real quick. C.J. Stroud, who's had the best rookie season of any quarterback ever in this
dog.
past year,
Yes.
and is already a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Dog.
Joe Mixon, who is a dog as well, and has never in the last 7 seasons has had 1,000 all-purpose yards at least.
A dog on the football field.
A dog on the football field. Dameon Pierce, who in his rookie season had a huge year, a little bit of a down year, but behind
He was
Joe
a dog
Mixon,
his rookie season.
another people forget. And in Bobby Slowick's offense, kind of learning the ropes, might be due for a big year again. And then you get to the receivers. Stefon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz.
Dogs. All
Dude.
of them are dogs.
Hey, and not to mention
Who's
what's going
covering
on
all those guys?
on
Who's covering all
no
those
one.
guys?
It's impossible. And then not to mention, and we won't go into this because this is about Stefon Diggs and really the offense, but not to mention what's going on the defensive side of the ball.
I mean, the
Daniil Hunter,
defense,
Will Anderson.
What's hilarious is that the defense was angling to be the identity of our team. Obviously, we have a defensive head coach. He's bringing over that same philosophy, like the D line wins games, like to Houston. He's bringing that idea over. That's why he's building up the D line. Putting crazy linebackers in the middle of the field. But on the other side of the ball, not looking too bad. Not looking too bad at all. In fact, they might be a top 3 offensive unit and a top 3 defensive unit. You know what that means? Hey, you know what that math means? You know what that math equates to?
What does that
Fucking
mean?
chips, buddy. Fucking rings, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Boom, boom, boom. Icy. That's what that equates to right there. You don't have a top 3 defense and top 3 offense and not be a Super Bowl contender. That's what happens. And we just became a top 3 offense. We just became a top 3 offense in the NFL, buddy. Yeah, the defense was already there.
Top 3 team in the NFL. I mean, top 3 team in the NFL. It's us, the Niners, and the Chiefs.
The way I look at it in the AFC, We needed a big swing to put us right there because there was a lot of people that were saying like, "Hey, they're a good young team and they made some moves this offseason." But I don't know. I
Yeah.
still trust the Chiefs and the Bills and the Bengals and all that and Ravens over
Mhm.
them. We're right there now in the mix. I mean,
Yeah.
our team is just as stacked as maybe the most stacked, the most youthful
Yeah.
and stacked team in the NFL. And it's right
Yeah.
there, buddy. We're gonna show them. We're gonna show those guys that
We're gonna
the
show
Texans
those
are a
guys
top
over there.
team in the. We're a top team in the AFC, man.
We're a top team in the league. Yeah, like this Stefon Diggs trade is the thing that pushes this team across. This is. I
It's
mean,
sending
we're done.
shockwaves. It's sending shockwaves throughout the league. I know that people are taking notice because, I mean, obviously the Texans they were making, like I said, making moves this offseason. This is just caps. This caps pre-draft perfectly. Now it's
Hmm.
like we just had the most perfect offseason free agency you can possibly have. Now we're moving
Yeah,
on to the draft. If we nail this draft, we are going to.
that's what I
There's
was.
no doubt in my mind we're going to the Super Bowl. There's no doubt in my mind we're going to the Super Bowl
That's what
if
I
we
was
nail the
saying,
draft.
because every year that we've had Casario, he in the second, third, fourth, fifth round, sixth round, he gets dogs every year. There's dudes in those rounds that make huge impacts on this team. This draft, if Casario just stays consistent with how he's been able to draft and gets a couple guys that are going to end up being, big playmakers in this offense or this defense, whatever side of the ball they're on, guys, and we have so much draft capital in those rounds. That's why that trade out from Minnesota or to Minnesota where they took 23 and we moved back and got more picks in the second and third. I loved because that's what Casario does right. And Casario and D'Amico said this when they were in I think in Miami or wherever they have the owners and coaches meeting and GMs. He was getting interviewed. He's like, "Look, me and Nick think the sweet spot of this draft is 2 to 4, 2 to 4." That's what he said. He said they see the most value in the second and fourth rounds, so they move back. Guys, this is what they do. This is what they do. They go get the guys like Stefon Diggs. They go get the guys like the Neil Hunter. They go get the Joe Mixons, right? They go get the big dogs that are proven dogs. And then look at those second and fourth round guys. What can they work with? Who do they like? Bring them in and build them to be the next generation. Christian Harris, do you think he was a first fucking round? Like, no. Christian Harris is a dog. All these guys that we have. Nico Collins is a third round guy. Damian Pierce is a fourth round guy.
It just warms my heart. Warms my heart that we are now in the. This is officially the best Texans team I've ever seen.
Ever, yeah.
Obviously, on paper, off the field, like going into a season, this is the best Texans team. It rivals what I thought 2013 was going to be, which obviously that wasn't good. That was obviously not good.
That
Maybe
was really
it
bad.
rivals even 2018 when I was like when healthy Four was coming back and we had D Hop, healthy Will Fuller coming back and all that. And I
Yeah.
was like, man, it's gonna be a good squad.
It doesn't rival
This
them.
team is
It
going. This
blows
team
those
is
out
going
of the
to.
water.
Well, yeah, this team is going to shit on those teams because we
Yeah.
were just as good without the moves we've made, with all the rookies and young guys in place playing. We were
Yeah.
good already. Second year, guys. Second year, CJ Stroud. Second year, D'Amico. Second year,
Yeah.
Tank. Even like all these guys are getting older. They're gonna have one more offseason under their belts, and we're just making all these moves. What a time! What a time to be a Texans fan. This is going to be such a fun season. I can't wait, dude. I just can't
It
wait.
is. I can't
I mean,
I can't
I'm
believe
like
it.
I'm still reeling. I'm still reeling from the fact that in two off seasons we're just here. Like, oh, we showed up. Oh,
Yeah.
we showed up to
Hmm.
the table. The dinner of Super Bowl contenders in the NFL. We just showed up. We just
Yeah.
crashed the party and went, Can we pull up a chair here? Can we pull up a
Yeah.
chair?"
Yeah.
And then they're like, I don't think." And then like the waitress
I
comes
think
by and
someone's
she's
sitting
like,
there. Oh no.
she's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I can pull up a chair." He's like, "Oh, that'd be perfect. Thank you, darling. All right."
Thank
You
you so
sit
much.
down.
Thank
You're
you so
like,
much.
"Oh, it's just fucking. Is this for the table right here?" You just pull, get the
Those
fucking,
crab cakes.
mm,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
just mm,
Mm. Oh, it's like
like that
fondue,
sauce on,
like
like that
fondue
sauce on
cheese.
top.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, y'all.
Mhm.
You want to order? You know what? You want to order shots for the table?
Yeah.
Shots for the
Order shots.
table.
Yeah.
What do you
No,
want?
yeah,
I
we're
know
not
this
the
guy.
people that. Yeah, we sit down at the
Point
table
blank.
and we don't just join the dinner. We take over the dinner, right?
Yeah, we're
We
taking
take
over.
over.
We're
We
like,
start
oh,
making all the decisions, right? Yeah,
you look over at like the Ravens. Like, oh, this guy looks like he needs a shot. This guy, I'm gonna
yeah.
get to. Hey,
Oh,
miss. Yeah, I'm good. You want tequila?
no, no, no.
Whiskey. You're
Sorry,
a
I
whiskey
just
boy.
ordered it. I just ordered the Derrick Henry burger. No, you need a shot.
No, no, no,
You need a
you
shot.
want to share. You guys are funny. I am so glad to be
You,
here. Let's order
you-
shots. And then he
yeah,
gets a big old T-bone steak. Get a big old T-bone
yeah,
steak. You're like, I listen. I work
yeah.
hard. I need a steak. I want to eat a lot of meat.
Mm-hmm.
I need a lot of protein. We're just taking
Yeah,
over the dinner. We become the life of the party, and that is a sports metaphor. That's a
that
sports
is right
analogy.
there.
Yeah. All right.
Oh
Well,
God.
uh,
Well,
we'll hop on
yeah.
out of here. But before we go, thank you to our sponsors, Celebrity Mint. Follow them on socials, the Celebrity Mint. They have great sports memorabilia, great movie memorabilia, just just awesome stuff in general. Go check them out. Thank you, Celebrity Mint, and also Big City Wings. Shout out Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. We're gonna be watching Texans games there this season for sure. I mean, how could you not? We go there
Yep.
all the time. Great beer, great service, great food. So Big City Wings, thank you so much for powering this episode. And again, thank you Celebrity Mint for powering this episode of Off the Gridiron.
Yep. Thanks so much, guys. And yeah, shout out. We're going to be watching Stefon Diggs catching CJ Stroud touchdowns at Big City Wings come September and October. And damn well into February, my friend. Guys, also follow us on Twitter at Apollo Texans and Apollo HOU to keep up with all the Houston sports and obviously the Texans info that you need. It's really fun over there. Go check us out. Guys, leave a comment down below. Give me your thoughts on Stefon Diggs, anything the Texans have done this offseason. How we feeling? Because look, man, being a Texans fan right now, it's been dark. It's been dark. It's been a honestly bad, pretty rough time as the team's been around, right? Hasn't been great.
Honestly, just the team's existence it's been
Yeah,
bad.
it's been pretty rough. Yeah. So, but guys, now on the up and up. I mean, one of the best teams in the NFL, one of the best rosters in the NFL, which is crazy to say because 2 years ago we had the worst roster anyone's ever seen. So, guys, just let us know. Let us hear it. How we feeling in the comments. Really interested to hear what y'all have to say. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Lets us know that you like what we're doing. And other than that, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you later.
Watch Texans off season. Go Texans.
Watch Stefon Diggs. Go Texans.